everyone, and welcome to our tech team meeting, UWM tech team meeting. It is May 1st.
What a day.
Which is a holiday in most of the European countries, commemorating the working people. So, and for me to work on a holiday like that, there's something wrong about that. All right, let's take a moment in prayer as we move into this meeting, allowing our tech nerdiness to come forth and combine it beautifully with the spirit that we all know so well, especially in quiet moments. We set everything aside that has been busying our lives thus far today, and we are focusing completely to the idea that technology can truly enhance our life and our spirit. In gratitude, we pray as we affirm for each other's wisdom to come forth, helping each other to bring our communities into a future that is filled with understanding and learning and laughter and community. And so it is. Amen.
Tech nerdiness, I love it.
Yeah, tech nerdiness. That's what we're about. Hey, Bob. So let me look at the agenda. Lane won't make it today. She had a double booking. Randy suggested to talk about DMX lighting, and Eldon suggested to talk about sound. That's what I have from my meeting with Lane this morning. And then a couple of housekeeping things. We will, there has been a change with regard to Unity Fort Worth being helping out with the operations of Oscar. That is no longer the case as of today. So what will happen is this is a Unity Fort Worth Zoom room that we have been using. So we're going to change that room to the Oscar room. I'll be setting this up. I just wanted to give you a warning in case you have it written down somewhere or bookmarked. This particular Zoom room will no longer work next time we meet. But if you are in the distribution, or let me see, how do you usually get into this room? Let's maybe talk about that.
I follow your link.
I follow your link.
Is that but Bob, are you getting like the reminders from the tech team meeting Google invite?
I'm getting the email invite, yes.
Okay. And that's the same for you, right?
Yes.
Owen and
Yes.
Eldon. Let me pause the recording real quick because I'm checking on personal information. So in all of your cases, but not necessarily everyone who watches the recording, you will receive the new link. So if you do whatever you've done so far, that's perfectly okay. Another way to actually get to the Zoom room is and let me post the link so you have that as well. And I explain it for those who watch the recording. When you go to the Oscar website, unitysouthcentral.org, and then to the tech support call, on the support calls, tech support call, then you have actually a page that explains what we're doing. And then you can also click a button that says join Zoom room. So we will change that, of course. And then finally, we have our own website, unitytechteam.org. And I will just make sure that all the links are updated as well. Okay. The second housekeeping, yes, Bob.
Oh, while you're doing housekeeping, this is going to be my last meeting.
Oh, no.
Some health issues, leave it like that. Also, they've done some reorganizing at Unity Church of the Mountains. And I'm not being fired.
Uh,
It's just right now, and there may be a new person joining later on. I don't know.
yeah.
But just letting you, and I have appreciated so much what you all have offered. Um, it's just, it's been one of those things that I do look forward to, and I get some Zoom calls that I don't.
Yeah.
So I just want to say a combined appreciation to all of you.
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for participating. It's been a pleasure. And it's always important that we hear the different points of views and understand what the different needs are of each church. And as far as I'm concerned, Bob, I'll just leave you in the distribution. And even if you're not officially or associated, who knows? Maybe you create your own little ministry. You are, regardless, you are more than welcome to keep joining us if you want to.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Well, and all the best to you, truly. If you don't mind, I will add you to my prayer list and hold you.
And I would appreciate that sincerely.
Prayer. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned last time, or maybe that wasn't in the recording, but I will be leaving Unity Fort Worth.
Oh.
I resigned my position at Unity Fort Worth, and I will be leaving pulpit ministry at least for some time, for very similar reasons to you and some other reasons, Bob. It made it just very easy for me to make a decision toward taking care of my health. And I will continue hosting this call because I continue to be the president at the Unity South Central region for now. And then we'll see what happens later. So since we are on that topic of change, right? Good. So one more housekeeping thing is, how does everyone feel about taking June off?
That would be fine with me.
Last year we did it in August because that was my spiritual renewal. That's going to change because I'm going to remain at Unity Fort Worth for another few weeks, but June just happens to be ideal for me and Lane to take a break. And if you're all okay, I would like to skip June and then see how we're doing in July and further on. Good. Does that sound okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So I will make those changes as well. All right. Enough of housekeeping. Since Randy is not here yet, Eldon, what did you want to discuss about sound?
Well, my take on that was more, I guess, Lane, what she does, to get sound through Pro Presenter and how we do things, because I'm not really involved in the sound.
Oh, okay. So that will be Lane for next time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else is there about sound that we can share, or did we want to talk about a different topic? I want to wait with the lighting thing until Randy. Randy sometimes is a little late.
Well, I know one thing I do know about our sound is, of course, with our new temporary home, they have the Behringer, X32, the small version. And I know Andrew's had to learn an awful lot about it, going from a digital board from the old Allen Heath analog board that we've had for so many years. Although in Andrew's professional life, I think he does everything pretty much off of a computer. He does all the sound through whatever I guess that Apple program is.
Mhm.
I know the setup there is all tied through that, but we've had a few issues there with routing things. With the digital board, there's so many channels, and the way things can get routed, and if something gets switched, occasionally he loses sound and panics for a little while, but it all works out. But where we're at now, he's still feeding sound out of the soundboard into a little equalizer he has that he uses to make our recordings of your sermons, and then that's the sound he sends us into our video cabinet, and from there we bring it in and run it through our ATEM switcher, because it's got such a intense audio processor software in it. Feed it out through the USB along with our camera video into the computer running Pro Presenter. So that's about what I know about sound. I know then from the Pro Presenter, it's sent back to our streaming box, and that's what the audio we use for streaming.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the easiest setup, but and it's not really the same as many others have. I think what's really crucial, one huge advantage that we now have because we switched over to a digital soundboard, is that our sound person, our sound engineer, we bought him an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a congregant bought it for us, for the tech team, and then we designated that iPad primarily doing service for him. So he has this app on the iPad that controls the entire soundboard. He is also a musician, so he actually drums or plays the guitar during the service.
Wow.
And the location where we're in right now is a bit difficult in terms of sound. The sanctuary we had before, because it was kind of like a hexagon type of deal, round deal, had quite a different sound experience than that more traditional channel of a sanctuary. So it took him quite some time, including a calibration of the sound system to get the sound right. But when he is up on the balcony and he listens, he doesn't really hear the same thing that when he is downstairs in the back of the room, for example. So what he is now able to do, he has this iPad with like a sleeve or something. So he just sits in the back somewhere doing rehearsal and just kind of like adjusts the level as they need to be, and even sometimes doing service. When he has to play drums, then he usually takes his iPad, and without us even seeing anything, he just changes and mutes and unmutes, and he does everything from the iPad. And I think that's such a huge thing, in my opinion, that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
That it's if you're thinking about moving from analog to digital, and because your analog is kind of like on the fritz or on the way out, then this is just a huge advantage, in my opinion. It's just so fun seeing him doing it. He's just running around and he's just adjusting and
I know, but the other day I wasn't sure about one of the vocalist sounds. So since he's untethered, I had to go hunt him down. Actually, kind of during the song in the service, he was downstairs, just with the congregation enjoying the song. And so anyway, I asked him a question. He ran back up there to verify something. But yeah, I mean, he can be anywhere now.
yeah, that's the downside, right? So you might have to have earpieces that the FBI agents have, and then hey, sound, I need.
I mean, in the past, you either knew he was in the enclosure at the soundboard or running in somewhere in between. So
Yeah. Yeah, now he can actually really prepare himself. He can walk from upstairs to downstairs when he has to play, and while he's walking, he can just make the adjustments. Yeah.
but it's really good because in that room, of course the front part of the chapel is all just open, very high ceilings, but in the back seating is probably an 8 foot or maybe 9 foot ceiling because we're up above that in all the control stuff, and so there has to be there's a separate amplifier, and he modifies the sound that's going back into the back of the sanctuary speakers. And that iPad has really made that easy. He can go down there and know, immediately if something needs to be tweaked. So it's really nice.
Oh,
We our old analog mixer was going out too. We lost a couple of channels, and so we made a pitch to one of our wealthy members and got him to buy us an X32 also, and
Oh, okay.
we got the bigger one because I wanted to be able to see as much as I could of what's going on and not have
Right.
to rely on levels and levels of software. And still, there's levels and levels of software. But it's kind of fun to see all the sliders going up and down all by themselves when you switch from one bank to another. We used to have a drummer who hooked up an iPad to it and was able to do a really good job controlling the mixer. I haven't done that yet, and the thing is, I don't have a musician's ear.
Mm.
I listen to the band and it's sound to me. I can tell when the balance between the instruments and the singers is okay because that's obvious. But I'm not very good about the subtle stuff. So, but I think hooking up an iPad is a really good idea though, because you can get instant access to all kinds of levels of the mixer that you just can't get by pushing the buttons and turning knobs.
Yeah, and you can pre-program, I mean, on the soundboard itself, you can pre-program settings
Yes.
to make it a little easier, especially those, you're right. I mean, that's, I think, was a high learning curve for our sound engineer to understand the different levels. We have still not explored the using the stream deck, I think it's called, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the stream deck, which is that, device where you can have programmable buttons and where you can control multiple things, where you can control lighting, sound, slides, anything really you want in just one push of the button.
Yeah.
And Lane, I think, talked about it briefly last time. She uses IFTTT, if this then that, to actually control our entire lighting system. And so you can basically, with the Stream Deck, you would have the ability to, change the lighting to, for example, for meditation, bring the lights down the way you want them. And it doesn't matter how many channels you need to change. Then change the sound, turn this on, turn this off, kind of. But we haven't really gotten there yet, Eldon, haven't we?
No, for some gear with the Stream Deck, you have to run that other companion program to make it interface. But with our lighting, since it uses that program or whatever, that if this then that thing, a lot of equipment is starting to use that now. You don't have to have any external because the Stream Deck just deals with that.
Yeah, it's quite amazing what can be done. Yeah.
I'm using my Stream Deck, since you can have, I think, 99 pages. I've got one page that's just set up for my lighting I'm using now because I can go in and, just hit a button and change color temperatures and all that kind of stuff, just without having to go into a program. And also, I've got a home page where I can just hit it and go to websites like the church website or whatever, and it'll open the browser and go to Unity Fort Worth or whatever. So they're handy,
Yeah.
I'm sure I don't use it as much as I could, but it's just handy, if nothing else, just for my lighting.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a useful use for the Stream Deck and I could convince Elaine that it's a feasible expense for us at home, I already would have one, but I don't. I haven't started. Usually, when I have to convince my wife Elaine of like a ridiculous expense that's totally not needed, I have to kind of like put together an Excel sheet and explain how that's going to improve our lives. So I haven't found the use for it yet.
But I've got a page set up just for Zoom, so I can go there and I can push a button and raise my hand, without having to do anything with the keyboard, do
Okay.
different things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of handy.
So
Or
I could tell her that by having a Stream Deck, I would have less stress, anxiety in order to raise my hand.
that's right.
Yeah.
Or mute or chat or any of that, whatever buttons. I've got the middle one. I've got the one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 15 buttons.
15 buttons, yeah. Yeah, for the church, we bought the big one, which has how many? 32, right? I thought yours was 16, then
Maybe
it was 8, 16, and 32 or something like that.
now mine's 15. I think there's 5, 15, or maybe I don't remember, right off, but
Well, is there anything else on sound that's worth considering for today?
I don't think so. So if someone showed up and they had an issue, that would be fun to deal with. But we're all doing pretty well.
Yeah. And well, then let me shift gears because I'm kind of curious, Bob, if you're okay talking about it, because you have been so far the most involved as far as this team is concerned, assuming that you're also the most involved around live streaming and technology at your church. With you now, transitioning out, how are you dealing with the knowledge transfer, which I think is a huge issue often in churches in general, because it's not well done.
We brought in, now it's almost 2 years ago, a young guy. He was 20 at the time, and he was pretty well versed in all things computers. So together, we have basically grown up, and he's in the last year basically taken on all sorts of stuff. For all practical purposes, I've been out of the link since my incident back in February.
Mm-hmm.
And with the restructuring they're doing, there's a new guy we brought on, and he's got a lot of potential, seems to have already some sense of what we're doing with the streaming.
Yeah.
But our young guy, whose name is Sky Martinez, and I'll tell you, he is a whiz. And quite frankly, he's been the one that's been teaching me a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, we have a Methodist church that his mom brought him in. She's in the choir. And so he was streaming before he came to me. And just brings all sorts of knowledge base.
Yeah.
and also the ability to teach, which is important. We have another guy who's getting into it, but whether or not he wants to stay, I don't know. But the new guy seems to be really interested. So you're absolutely right. The knowledge base, I mean, this thing can go upside down if under certain circumstances. So they won't miss a beat with me going, not at all.
That's excellent. So you've done your due diligence by maybe not even preparing for it necessarily 2 years ago, but you've understood that more than one person needs to actually understand what's going on, right?
Sure. And I've been one of those, and our minister coordinator has bought into it, saying, hey, look, uh, I won't be, this is a year and a half ago, I won't be here forever. Yeah. And I think it's important for everybody, quite frankly, to have either an understudy or in the case of Sky, I'm now his understudy. But yeah, it's very important.
What are we doing, Eldon? I know that you have worked hard on kind of creating a checklist, almost like at the level of a pilot, to go through a checklist, what all needs to be done before we're ready for live streaming or anything.
Right. We're not, you know, we really haven't recreated that since we moved. I do, you know, I've got a folder there that's everything's printed out about how all of our streaming equipment interconnects, you know, what it is, each piece. And then at the back, I've started putting in pages, or well, the front, of just notes, you know, like I've got one about how we do a Zoom call and some little gotchas you got to watch for. And so I've been doing that. But again, we're also a situation where I really need to be able to train someone to step in.
Yeah.
We do not meet European quality control guidelines.
Well, at the same time, you know, Lane and you have a lot of overlap in terms of knowledge, but probably not enough for Lane just to take over what you do and vice versa at this point, right?
Lane could pretty much take over, but I don't know anyone that could step in because of the way she knows how to deal with our presentation software.
Okay. So there's a need then for us to create that opportunity for someone to step into that role. Yeah. Shall I even bother asking, Owen? Are you still your one-man show?
It's still a one-man show. Yeah, we fortunately we have a new member, well, relatively new, like 4 or 5 months, and he's very tech savvy. He used to do tech at another church, and I've been bringing him in to teach him the system. And I have a 2-page, 12-point, absolutely full list of what to do to set up and operate the system, which needs updating right now because we've made some changes. We've gone from PC to Mac, but
hold on. Don't throw that just out there. You moved from PC to Mac?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is celebration right here.
Yeah.
Especially since Randy is not here to oppose it. Let's just take that.
We had a Zoftic Dell PC that we bought when Gary and I showed up here, and it loaded, just absolutely loaded. And we're on the 3rd motherboard. They just can't get it working right, and they refused to declare it a lemon. And so we just gave up. And the latest issue was that it wasn't reliably streaming. Sometimes it would stream okay, sometimes it wouldn't. Yeah. And so we went to a Mac Mini, which is absolutely a fabulous machine. It has an
Yeah.
M2 chip, and it's fast and reliable and clean, and little plug-in 2 terabyte external disk, and a breakout box when I have to plug USB 2 or 3 plugs in, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And since I'm a Mac person, it's just so easy for me to use.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
we've
what
been
I'm looking at.
happy. We have two Mac Minis,
Mm-hmm.
one running the Pro Presenter and then the other one running the ATEM Mini Pro plus all the Zoom stuff for guest speakers, since we're having guest speakers, remote guest speakers feeding into the sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Randy, have you picked up a PCIe expansion box for yours yet? Or I'm not Randy.
Owen.
Owen.
Oh.
Yeah. Excuse me. I was thinking about Randy.
No, haven't. We're just using a little breakout
Okay.
thing.
You know, we had to get one of those because that's what we're using to run our Blackmagic STI 4-port card. That's how we get all the video out.
Oh, yeah, yes, we do have a black box that we plug the Black Magic card into. That's made by Otherworld Computing.
That's what we've got. It's just the single card version, but it's been really reliable. And what we're using, we feed because of Pro Presenter, we can set up all these different screens and things. So we've got one specialized for what we want our live stream to look at, so that box and that card feeds that out, that goes into our streaming box. So that's one view. Then we've got one that feeds the projector the way we want it to look. One of the outputs goes to one of the rear monitors where we bring up song lyrics and different things, and the other output goes to a rear monitor for time and all that. So that's really been handy. And then, of course, the main HDMI output's what we use for the screen that we control everything there, on the desk. So that's worked really well.
Yeah, and Blackmagic, actually Blackmagic and OWC both they have great support.
Mm-hmm.
You pick up the phone and you actually talk with someone who knows. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was actually you, Owen, that got me onto Blackmagic before I even started talking to Eldon about developing the live stream system. Mm-hmm. Because before I took on the senior minister position in Unity Fort Worth, you and I were already working for a number of years on projects and help churches move into live streaming, and Blackmagic came up all the time, right? I remember.
And they have low cost units that'll do all kinds of things, as you know, and they also populate most networks and TV stations with very sophisticated high-end equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite a capable company.
Yeah, they're doing wonderful stuff. And our Blackmagic ATEM Mini Extreme that features 8-channel is just, for like $1,000 or something. I can't remember. It's just totally worth the money. I wished we had the budget, to be honest, to buy the cameras. Mm-hmm. The 4K or 6K cameras. Maybe they're 8K by now, but they were just insane, the quality that they had, and the configurability, with what is it? Is it Galileo, the software that they're using for color management? No, it's not Galileo. It's another Italian. Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Da Vinci Resolve. Yeah.
DaVinci Resolve to deal with all the white balancing and the color correction and all that. It's just
Well, it what's amazing to me is that even the lowest price switcher now, the ATEM, is such a bargain because it's like having four HDMI to USB cards that would cost you twice what that switcher costs, and so that you can bring in all your cameras. And it's got, all of them have that audio processor that's based on Fairlight, that is such an intense audio control program, where you can do all your gates and you can just do everything right there in the switcher. So that's really would be a bargain for any just really even small. I used one here for quite a while just because I like the way it processed the audio.
Yeah. Remind me again what you're using, Bob, to switch cameras and stuff like that.
It's funny that you should say that. Just one of the issues I'm dealing with is called brain fog, and I'm trying for the life of me to pull up. Let me back up. About 6-7 months ago, in our church Unity tech team meetings, we came up, or one of us came up with the idea that we become so complicated. And this is a good example now that I cannot remember several of the things that we use that I could pass on. But anyways, the concept of, we jokingly called it dumbing down our ability to have, and what we've learned from here, sound is number one. So we've got excellent sound. We have 2 cameras that we can switch, and we've got a mini Mac, which really made life easy. But candidly, should something happen to our number 2, who is now really number 1, to Sky, we would probably be in trouble. Maybe the streaming could still get out, but during one of the meetings, I said, wait a minute, never thinking what was going to happen to me later on. This is real important that other people have some of that knowledge. I started doing a little notebook. I gave that up. So that's what we've done. And last November, December, I pulled Sky alongside and said, I need you. You're in charge of the newest project. He says, what's that? I says, I want you to bring the whole system so that maybe 3 or 4 buttons, what have you, we could bring in somebody and we could teach them that. And that's what we're doing with our new guy. Now, my point is, it's never too early to somehow or other bring the knowledge base readily to be able to picked up by somebody who's a little bit techie. Let's face it, you need a little techie here.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, you don't want to deal with someone who.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Struggles
turning on the iPad, right?
And it really helps to have someone who's not afraid of it. And like me, it's toys for me. The control room that I have, it's like my toy shop. I just love going into it. Other people look at it, and some people are really, oh no, I couldn't even step in there. But I love it.
Awesome.
Enjoy the toy shop, because this concept, and actually I had it during the COVID time, the brain fog idea, and then I got rid of it, and now it's back again. It only takes 1 episode or 2 episodes of that to really appreciate that, hey, we have to have a different system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered anybody's question, but that's given what my knowledge base is at this very moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what we what we did really well on our tech team, because we have a sizable tech team, split up the responsibilities to just chewable chunks so that someone who definitely needs to be technology inclined, or at least have an interest, but the hurdle is not so huge that, when you have to show them how to handle slides, that they go, oh my God, this is way too much. And that's a really great stepping in point, someone starting out doing slides or social media or learning the soundboard or doing camera work. And then out of those, eventually and hopefully, you can have someone move into an assistant director's position, like learning how to set up, learning how to control the whole service, and then just tell people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we find is our system is complex enough to challenge people, to challenge. They really have to stay focused, and when they space out, I'll know it. Especially during my talk when we fight with the clicker, which maybe another thing that we can get into for the last few minutes as a little tidbit of information, unless there's anything else that anyone would like to share about transitioning. All right, well, Eldon, did you want to just walk everyone through the issue we had and how you found the solution?
Well, yeah, the issue was that, our slide changing remote, it worked okay in our old facility. It was at the limits of its distance because it's made for office kind of presentations. It's Logitech that works over the 2.4 gig range. So there's a lot of, where we're at now, there's just so much interference that sometimes it would be a little laggy or not work right. But then when the church we're in added a router right under our on the wall right under us where a monitor is, so they could cover all the hearing implements they had for people. That just pretty much took it out. It just could not fight with that. All the Wi-Fi signals between the platform and us. So we had to go back and actually invest in more of a commercial kind of presentation device. And again, I don't remember things. I don't remember the brand, but it's one actually that we had run across several years ago when we were first started down this route in our old building. I think even before Jean-Marie came, and the expense just wasn't justified because we were able to get this other one from an Amazon warehouse deal for $30. So that's what we'd been using. But anyway, we've ordered this new one. It's the smallest version, but still it was like $385. But it can control two computers. You can plug two computers into it and even program what signals it sends out to each one. So if you're running two different softwares, you can do that. Do you remember the name of it, Jean-Marie?
I'm logging into Adorama, which is where we bought it. You're right on the 385, but I'll look up what the name was.
But you get an option. You can get just a simple single button remote that just moves it forward. You can get a 2-button forward, backwards. You can get a 3-button that adds a green, pretty powerful laser pointer. And then you can get a 4-button that also will let you blank the screen under some software. But the nice thing about that is you can set the channel, so you could have a simple clicker just to give someone, or you could have the more intense ones. We were going to get the 3-button one, but they ended up shipping us the 4, and that's fine. But it's got a really good range, and they go up to well over $1,000, depending on what receiver box you get. Because what they also do, there's lights on the boxes that point green light for forward, red light for back, I believe, so that if someone brought their own computer in and we were tied it into our system, their clicker wouldn't have to work on their computer. We could just see the light and know, come on, and know, okay, he wants to move or she wants to move forward or backward. So it's a pretty good setup, and they use them a lot in, again, in commercial applications more.
So I found the name. It's a DSAN Perfect Q Micro Ultra Compact Q Lite Remote Presentation Controller. And it's $385, so it's definitely on the pricey end, probably not worth looking at unless you really run into frequency issues.
Well, if you got a big room, an auditorium, that's really what they go to. That's why they're continually out of stock. I think they sell so many of them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, now is the time to start wrapping up. But before we do, so we're taking June off, but what will be a topic that y'all think would be worth talking about in July?
I don't really have a topic, but since Chad is coming to give his presentation at our church, what I'm thinking about is life after Chad, but that's probably not a topic for our group.
Well, we could, we've had we've had this discussion before. You're talking about returning to the discussion whether live streaming is worthwhile or not, right?
Yes.
And with you having the direct experience with Shad doing his workshop, you may also have a bit more poignant questions for him or challenges for him. And we would have at least someone on our team that would have first, direct knowledge of what he's actually suggesting.
Yes.
So let's, what did we call it? I'm putting DMX lighting back on that as a topic, but then we can also
value of live streaming.
Is live streaming necessary? Let's just do a question.
Okay.
Then we all know what we're talking about. And then you can remind us, we had Chad come and this is what he really says, because when we do second and third hand stuff, we play the telephone game and we don't always get to know
and apparently his presentation has evolved over time. He just keeps doing this, and it's been changing, I've heard. So I'll find out.
Awesome. Well, great. Since we have plenty of time, how about we'll do a pray out?
Yeah.
Settle into the moment and find just that spot in our hearts that is deeply connected with appreciation. And as we move into that spot, into that place of appreciation, we give thanks to each other for having the passion, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the opportunity to share what is ours to do in our communities, technology related. We're so grateful that Macintosh computers are taking over the world. And we're grateful for each other and pray in that way and affirm the spirit in all of us. And so it is. Amen.